All right. Slight error, but we are back. So sorry.
Yeah. So the Visions of Mana review. This is a beautiful game. It's very anime, and it's got a lot of these sort of anime tropes with the story. I wasn't super gripped by it, but so much as I was enjoying running around in the environments, collecting items, treasures, elemental points used to upgrade your weapons and attacks and stuff. And yeah, the combat. You can because you can double jump and dash in the air. The most of the combat footage I got is from these cool boss fights, and to me feels like a faster Monster Hunter or something, because I'm just in the way that I'm dodging their attacks. There's a lot of like incoming attack, don't stand in the orange type stuff, and it really just keeps you moving, you know. And but everything's kind of cute. All the enemies look like they're like little plushies, and there's even some of our friend like the black mage running around as bad guys as you encounter all these, you know, deal with the magic that keeps the world of mana in motion on your pilgrimage to make a sacrifice to the tree of mana. And you know, antagonist might have something to say about the world and how it is run, and how he feels it should be changed and the like, and how upset he is about it.
I actually think it's funny how like there is that. You're right. How would like you're seeing it right here in the B-roll with the crab boss. Maybe not right now, but whenever he spawns the little the ads, whenever he spawns his minions, they are like little funny like cartoon crabs, whereas he is like a giant monster crab.
Yeah, no, all the enemies they definitely reflect their sort of natural elements standpoints. They separate like wood versus like earth is its own thing, and then there's like, you know, fire, ice, and then light and dark. And eventually, like I kind of wasn't taking the combat super seriously at first, but I kind of got skill checked when I wasn't using all the game's mechanics.
Oh,
and
wow.
I had to take into account like, oh, you have a class ability and you have an elemental ability, and you need to apply the elemental weakness to these monsters instead of just you know, not dishing out as much damage per second as you possibly can.
So it's like not a button masher. Like you can't just
No.
mash through.
Yeah, I was treating it like that, and I definitely hit a point where it's like, okay, you had to think. I was even playing it like on just the normal difficulty, and I feel like my pattern in playing this game was, you know, explore and get a bunch of items and equipment, try out all the different classes and play styles because for each like sort of elemental artifact and you know, element, you can equip like a different class, and every character is different. Okay. So eventually you get a party of 5, and they all get little outfits and stuff you know, that change. But each character can equip the 3 different weapons, and they have different classes based on that. So that was a lot of fun to try and get different combat styles out of. Like I felt like you know, once I played as the cat guy and equipped some knives and became a ninja, it really felt like zipping around like Kingdom Hearts 2 or something. That was really cool, and really kept me into the game, even when I like set the controller down during the cutscenes.
So it really, when you're the combat and I guess the exploration, it really is then like quick and snappy.
Yeah, it's exactly what I think the original Secret of Mana brought to RPGs on the Super Nintendo, and yeah, Visions of Mana definitely brings that out on the PS5.
Wow, all right, pretty cool. So like, but I gotta say, besides the story, was there anything that was rather like lackluster about the game? Because honestly, when I'm seeing the B-roll and I'm looking at the combat, I don't see a ton of exploration in this B-roll. I'll be real, but like the combat and even the menu, like the customization in the menus, the looks pretty deep. So, what is the thing that holds this game back, if there is anything that holds it back?
You know, and I think this is kind of a nitpick that I have about a lot of games, but it kind of particularly got in the way more in Visions of Mana than in, say, my last review for Malachi Poison of the Past, is the camera angle kind of moves slowly when you're in combat, especially if you're locked on. Like when you see or hear the term hard lock, like you think the camera is just gonna be, have you and your opponent that you're focused on in camera view the whole time. But like if you lock onto something and the camera's not facing there, it just really kind of takes a while to get into view. So I'm kind of like swinging a little bit aimlessly. But that really didn't get in like the way of the combat. It's just sort of a blind spot, if you will, while your camera's transitioning. I felt like it should have worked a little better, or snappier at least, so you can see what you're doing in combat. But yeah, I think that's one of that, and the story, and like the fact that that all the sort of anime tropes and cartoon things, the wholesome, sentimental dialogue and stuff. It has its funny moments, but it's mostly just like, yeah, friendship, woo. That's gonna either hit or miss, and is a bit of a miss for me. I could have been playing other stuff, but if you're into that, or if you're just kind of young, it's cool that you like this. You're allowed to like whatever it is you like. If you see yourself in any of these characters, then that's cool. Go have a good time cosplaying as any one of them.
I will say, Drix, you're spot on about those outfits, bro. There are a ton of them. Like,
yeah, no, there's a lot of jobs. I love that. Really hit the mark with me, because ever since I played like Final Fantasy Tactics, I'm like, I love a game with like a job change system where you can just do different stuff and have different moves. There was one I pulled out where Squirrel Girl, she twirls the scythe, and that really came through in a couple of boss fights.
Well, hell yeah. Sounds like Visions of Mana. It's a pretty cool game. Looks great. Seems like it's a pretty involved combat system and exploration. And I gotta say, even these in-game little cutscenes like that you're seeing right now on the B-roll, they look pretty good. It really shows you that the PS5 can really dish out this like anime quality 3D rendering and still make everything look like it's in a lush, vibrant environment.
Yeah, definitely. It feels very like Akira Toriyama, just like that first Dragon Ball kind of. It's that kind of adventure, And it was cool. Like I actually was surprised, even when I wasn't interested in the game, how hard it came back and like brought me back in when there was the action,
Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well.
So
yeah. What is
oh
your
yeah,
final
and the
score?
Soundtrack's really good.
Oh,
there's
of course.
There's some of the most. It's not as good as say a Square Enix one, but there's some of the most like JRPG town art songs. They really hit the mark, and they really do a lot to immerse you in the story.
This isn't Square Enix?
Yes, it is, but it's made by NetEase, I think.
Oh wow! Okay.
I think it's published by Square Enix.
Oh,
they're
wow.
like, here you go, NetEase. What can you do with this?
Yeah, seriously. All
They
right.
really came through though. But final score, 4 out of 5.
A 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 for Visions of Mana. If I see this game on sale a lot. If you like your JRPGs and you like listen, I think this combat style right here, you're seeing it on the B-roll. I think it looks pretty cool, and I definitely see the parallels between the Kingdom Hearts, like you're saying. So 4 out of 5 from Drix on here on CFM Radio, and like I said, this is on sale a lot. So if you are into what you're seeing, you should pick it up.
Yeah, I actually got it for $40 around the holidays last year.
Hell yeah! I do remember there was you and I both did our mad dash in the Black Friday.
Yep, pick some stuff up on sale.
Hell yeah! All right, whoa! All right, we're gonna stop for a second on this one because this retro track sounds rocking. What are we listening to?
For the Sega Genesis, this is from a game called Langriser 2. Speaking of anime. And the song is called One's Side.
Langriser 2, One's Side.
hot and right, I'm so ready. Nobody could get in my way. Yeah, you can't let me down, 'cause I don't have time to be wasted. Lipstick on me and I'll be alright, baby. La la, I feel good and so fine. Ever in my life, it's so great, Lord. They're full of dreams, dreaming of a endless world. So come close, check me out. I'm so hot and right, I'm so ready. Nobody could get in my way. Hey, you can't let me down, 'cause I don't have time to be wasted. Lipstick on me and I'll be alright, baby. Lipstick on me and I'll be alright, baby.
CFM Radio, we are back.
We are back and as live as ever.
We are
That
absolutely
was
live.
that was a PS1 song from Busta Groove 2 by the name of Hello Kitty. That is the Kitty N stage of that sick old rhythm game.
Awesome head-to-head rhythm game. Fucking crazy arcade rhythm game that's like competitive.
Yeah, actually a lot of fun to duke it out in that one.
Hell yeah. But, Drix, I think we are going to love duking it out in some of the new releases we've got going on.
Oh yeah, as always, every week we keep the new releases in the news for you.
There's new games coming out every week, and if you listen to us here on CFM Radio, we always want you to be playing more games.
Yep. And even if you don't get to play them, at least know what's out, what's on the horizon, what you can get your hands on.
Because you never know what's going to come out. Because this week, Drix, this week might seem a little bit low-key, but we're going to see some pretty interesting titles, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, no, we like to shine a spotlight on these little gems here that we like to dig up for you.
And the first one is Blades of Fire.
Oh yeah, time to ignite.
From the official website, quote, "You are Arandalira, firstborn of the King's Ward. The newly crowned Queen Nerea has cast a spell that turns steel into stone. Only her army of abominations wield the divine metal against which other blades shatter. Find forge scrolls, develop your forging skills, and craft your weapon to suit your fighting style. The chosen weapon family and materials you create it from will affect characteristics such as weight, length, durability, penetration, and edge quality. Blades of Fire releases tomorrow, Thursday, May 22nd, on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series consoles. And Drix, this one is... I don't know if you checked out the reviews for this game, but it is quite polarizing.
Oh, really? I mean, it looks pretty metal, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty metal. It's by the guys who made the 3D Castlevania games on like 360.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you'll be doing some hacking and slashing for sure.
Oh yeah,
and,
for sure.
These beautiful environments, crazy creatures, lots of action and violence to be had.
Yes, and this game is getting anywhere from like 8s and 9s to like IGN gave it a 5. So,
Oh, what do
definitely,
they know?
hey, definitely one of these games that sounds like you have to check it out for yourself if you think it's interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is Blades of Fire, again, coming out tomorrow, Thursday, May 22nd. And here it is. The next game is Bloodshed.
Yeah, we're gonna keep the bloody theme going, and this one looks cool.
Yeah, from the Steam page, quote, Bloodshed is an exhilarating fusion of roguelite elements merged with retro-styled visuals and first-person survivors-like frantic combat action. Face endless waves of undead foes, collect experience points, and upgrade your skills and weapons in a battle to survive the night. Even after death, you keep your hard-earned money, which can be exchanged for persistent improvements and unlockable content, allowing you to progress further while adding depth to the overall gameplay. And Drix, you know what? I gotta be telling you, you have been playing Bolt Gun on the side. This looks like another one you might want to check out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it's I'm surprised we actually haven't seen like a roguelike boomer shooter yet. I've seen some rhythm ones that I guess have some roguelike qualities. They're procedurally generated and stuff. But this one feels the most like a boomer shooter.
Yeah. So, and that is
Yeah, that's right up
Bloodshed.
my alley.
Yeah, definitely. Looks right up my alley, too. I definitely want to check it out. Again, Bloodshed coming out tomorrow, May 22nd on PC Steam via Steam.
Yeah, Blades of Fire and Bloodshed.
And now we are going to go from dark and brutal to dark and surreal.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get kind of surreal.
What you're seeing on your screen is Leftovers KO. This one is for the real retro heads. From the Steam page, quote,
yeah.
Leftovers KO is a Punch-Out inspired hand-drawn animated boxing game where you fight a bunch of leftovers. After a long day at work, you come home to find that your uneaten food has come to life and it's here to beat you up with its hands. Defeat them all and uncover the truth. And you know what, Drix? Leftovers KO swings onto your PC via Steam this Sunday, May 25th. Very odd release date for a very odd looking game.
Yeah, I mean, don't let those Memorial Day barbecue leftovers come to life on you and start trying to fight you with their hands.
With their hands. Look at the burger.
Yeah, fisticuffs with your formerly eaten food.
This game looks so trippy, and I can't wait to try it out. There's a demo available on Steam that you can play right now. I definitely suggest anybody who wants to check this one out. It's pretty. If you like Punch-Out,
It's wacky.
If you like Punch-Out, it's one of those games where you really got to check it out. Like.
Yeah, I was saying before the show, I'm surprised we don't see more Punch-Out clones out there, or even a whole lot of boxing games to begin with.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
we were looking at that because I thought there were more boxing games out too, but it turns out there really isn't. Like,
yeah, no, people prefer MMA now and that EA annual sports simulation, perhaps.
Yeah, I suppose so. But that's the new releases we wanted to get to this week. Definitely check them out. We got a little bit of something for everybody.
Oh yeah, a lot of brutal and a lot of funny and weird.
Yeah, funny and really weird stuff. Like,
Weird, so weird. I just can't stop looking at it.
yeah.
It's like, who thought of this? Some
Dude,
Rick and Morty stuff
yeah,
going
I
on.
was literally just about to say this is like literally some
Super
Rick and
Adult
Morty.
Swim kind
Yeah.
of game.
Yeah,
I think those are my
serious.
favorites when we
Hey.
bring them on the new releases.
Yo, Robot Unicorn Attack. Game sick.
Yeah. Or like, what in the name of Pizza Tower is going on right now?
So true. All right, so
Yeah. For the loop.
we're going to take a quick break, but before we do, we are going to tackle one of the biggest drama episodes that has hit PlayStation because I don't even have the trailer. I forgot about it. We're going to watch some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth while we talk about this, because Drix,
Oh,
we are starting with the gaming news. And man, oh man, alongside this marathon fiasco that is literally too big for this episode, has PlayStation fans a bit skeptical. You have the newly resurrected Game Informer with the headline: Jade Raymond leaves PlayStation Haven Studios, the company she founded.
oh wow! I quit the band I started, man.
Shit, Drix, no kidding.
Doesn't happen often, and when it does, you gotta ask why.
Jade Raymond, if you don't know, she was pretty much the face of the early Ubisoft days, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry 4, so many of those early Ubisoft titles. Then she moved on and didn't do a ton until Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2017, and that wasn't exactly received quite well at launch.
Yeah, surprisingly, huh?
Yeah, I mean, pay to win wasn't, a very nice thing. Kind of,
Oh,
EA
yeah.
kind of got taken to court, put the whole video.
It's already not going to be a good Battlefront 2.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
We already had one of those.
why do we have to go and try to ruin a good thing? But no, Jade Raymond, she created Haven Studios. PlayStation signed her as a first-party studio due to her production talent. And here's what Game Informer has to say from the article, quote, industry veteran Jade Raymond founded Haven Studios in 2021, and it was acquired by PlayStation in 2022. Now, just a few years later, and before the team has released its first game, an online shooter, heist shooter named Fair Games, Raymond has exited the company.
Huh. Was this the straw that broke the camel's back, this heist shooter?
I don't know, Drix, but it really seems like if your name isn't Helldivers 2, you just aren't making it out the door these days.
Yeah. Oh boy. But I'm making it right back into the Helldivers 2 door, let me tell you.
Yeah, let me tell you. Reading further, quote, Bloomberg broke the news, revealing PlayStation leadership didn't give Haven Studios staff a reason for her departure, but notes that it occurred several weeks after an external test of Fair Games. The publication's sources say some developers at Haven were, quote, concerned about how the game was received and its progress.
Huh. They were asking for some kind of update they just didn't get or something, huh?
Here's the update they did get from Bloomberg. Quote, Jade Raymond has been an incredible partner and visionary force in founding Haven Studios. A PlayStation spokesperson told Bloomberg, we are deeply, deeply grateful for her leadership and contributions, and we wish her all the best in her next chapter. PlayStation is committed to supporting Haven Studios and excited to continue the journey with new studio co-heads Marie-Eve Dany and Pierre-Francois Sapinski. Drix.
Huh. They didn't quite say that so long and thanks for all the fish. but here are two replacements.
Two replacements. Drix. I gotta tell you, we were just talking about PlayStation last week in the earnings, and it seemed like their bet on third party was paying off. And you know what, Drix? With all this first party turmoil, like we said at the top of the show, first Bungie, now Haven Studios, you got Concord.
Yeah.
Wait,
Still
actually,
trying to close that budget gap.
what's Concord, Drix?
Never existed. What are you talking about? That game
What?
was never here.
That game didn't even come out.
No. Barely.
It was a figment of your imagination. Now, I don't know exactly if... Because here's the thing, right? We've been reporting on this for, God, almost a year now. Like, this specific train, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think that PlayStation, from Japan, Hiroki Totoki and crew, do you think when they came in and they saw what Herman Holst was doing over here with all these live service games, they looked around, they were like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, could be. I mean, but maybe their niche is just strong single player stuff. Has it always been? Could be.
Could be. And you know, we did hear PlayStation say, for even Hiroki Totoki himself, we did hear him say that he was committed to providing live service games and releasing them. But Drix, you know, how many live service games?
Yeah, it could take a lot of time and a lot of people's effort.
And really, it could only take one. Helldivers 2 just released a huge new update.
Yeah, is that enough? That could be enough.
It could be enough. And but I mean, you know,
more.
They spent the money, so we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Still, not really a reason in the headlines as to why she
Yeah,
left.
I was looking for it too, and there doesn't really seem to be anything else. That I got to tell you, Drix, that external test of Fair Games must have been pretty bad.
Yeah, wow. Or you know, these suits will never understand my creative vision.
Yeah,
They're gonna ruin my baby.
true. You know, there could be a million reasons, and you know what? We may honestly never know.
Yep, that's for boardrooms only.
And you know what? We're gonna let the music ride the tension out, because we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come back. We're gonna close things out when we return, because we got a little bit of Nintendo news to talk about. They finally spilled the beans on Switch upgrades for Switch 2, and then we have Square. You know, Drix, we just talked about them too, and it sounds like they are taking their own advice.
Yeah, follow the money, why don't you?
But before we jump into that, let's jam out. What are we listening to?
This is from a game called Super Air Diver. Or, yeah, it's also called Lock On in other countries. But this is the Mission 1 song from Super Air Diver.
Super Air Diver Mission 1, CFM Radio.
Let's go.
We'll be back.
He's the one for me, there's no place I'd rather be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. To the finish line, everywhere you look, he's right on time. With a silent stare, racing through the open air, he's without a care. Everywhere you look, he's right on time. Moving to the beat. Can you feel the heat when the tigers kiss the street?
CFM Radio. We are back.
We're back, and that was from Ridge Racer Type 4, a song called Urban Fragments.
That song goes hard, Drix.
Yeah, I mean, one more win. Ridge Racer.
Ridge
Cross that finish line.
Racer.
Yeah, definitely a cool soundtrack to dive into.
Yeah, like, and honestly, it's kind of incredible how those games, a lot of those games are on the PS1, so.
Yeah, we were just talking some PlayStation. That was definitely one of the great early racing games.
Indeed, and you know what? We're gonna keep this ball rolling on the PlayStation, because before we get into the Nintendo news to close the show out, Drix, I'm going to put this on the screen, and I want you to give me your honest opinion. Does the VV purse look good?
Does the what now?
The VV purse doesn't look good. How about the mug?
Oh,
Is the mug more your speed?
The mug. Yeah, the Vivi mug. Yep. Yeah, I definitely saw that earlier today, and want it. I want to drink my coffee out of that.
What you're seeing right here is the Final Fantasy IX 25th anniversary official merch from jp.finalfantasy.com/FFIX25th. And of course FF9. I just need to make sure that when you type it in, you're typing in the right words. So, but as you can see, I'm going to also put the OST vinyl up, and it is absolutely, this stuff, Drix, is just absolutely beautiful. If you're an FF9 fan like me, you're a sucker for Vivi.
Yeah, you gotta be.
Yeah, right, you gotta be.
I mean, geez, but they're doing the 25th anniversary, so like any good album by any good band, they're touring it out right now with the Final Fantasy IX merch.
And I gotta say, this is just the new stuff that came out. There is still a whole catalog. There's like character standees. There's a bunch of stuff. So if you are a Final Fantasy IX fan, this is definitely your time to shine. I personally love the Final Fantasy IX soundtrack. Soundtrack for this game is it lives in my mind to this day.
Yes.
Like court jesters, just always. Like,
oh boy. Yeah, those dudes are nuts. Yeah, video game vinyl. Video game music vinyl. You're whew, boy. That is nice to have.
It's definitely for someone like you too, Jix. Imagine spinning that.
Yeah, so crazy. Just imagine your sound waves existing physically, just carved into some wax.
And you know, it might kind of seem like, hey, you know what? It's Final Fantasy IX is cool and all, but like, what gives, right? What's the big deal with this stuff? This doesn't seem like news. And you know what? You would be right, but dear viewer, you would be right. But I gotta say, if you've been tuned into CFM Radio, you will know that this is pretty much Square Enix's new game.
Yeah. They are following the financials that we reported on last week.
If you missed it, their digital entertainment sector was down, I think, by like somewhere around the area of like 4 or 5 points or something like that. It was very significant, and it also was only one of many sectors in Square Enix that did not meet financial performance, but the one that did meet and exceed financial performance, Tricks, it was merchandise.
Yes, these sweet little plushy things.
The sweet plushies, the great characters, the Vivi mugs.
Yeah, I mean, you don't develop such strong emotional attachments to characters and stories, you know, and then not want to buy these little things that they put out. And the music, too.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's pretty interesting to see the pivot, essentially, because
yep, that's what that is.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy, you know, Final Fantasy IX is kind of, I mean, it's well loved, but absolutely not the most popular out of that era of Final Fantasy games by a long shot. And
Yeah.
as you can see, they're focusing on the most marketable thing. They're focusing on Vivi. They're focusing on the OST, and they have
Yep.
if I'm gonna blow this OST cover art up just a little bit, because I do want you to emphasize. I do want everybody to take a look at and how they emphasize the character designs. A lot of these character designs are a lot softer than they were in the original, even the original art, game art. Like, everything seems very much, like very edgeless. You know, even Freya, right? So this merchandise push is totally earnest. I don't think there's a Final Fantasy IX remake coming out anytime soon. So,
No, you're better off nodding at this point.
yeah, so, you know, I think this is it. This is the Final Fantasy 9 25th anniversary celebration. It is merchandise because, as you said, Drix, it's what sells.
Yeah, I mean, that was our news last week, and here's some more evidence. I mean, it's fun to celebrate anniversaries of things, you know, and pop up some new merch up on the store based on it. Why don't you?
Yeah, it is fun. I do like how it's Final Fantasy 9. Final Fantasy 9 is one of my favorite Final Fantasies. It's just, it would be pretty interesting, Drix, to see Square back off on the games and go
Yeah.
full hog into merch and like maybe release like a game every year and a half.
Yeah, if that's what it takes to get more quality and like love and joy into and out of your games, then like, yeah, slow
think
down
it
a
will
minute.
work,
You
yeah.
know, you don't have to don't crank out shovelware. Like we don't really need more mobile games. At least that's not what I
Yeah.
think of when I think of Square Enix, you know?
Yeah, I don't think of Brave Exvius when I think of Final Fantasy. Like,
No, maybe some Bravely Default. We
yeah,
got,
maybe.
yeah.
That is I think the stuff looks cool, and I think it's an interesting way to pivot, because say what you want about Final Fantasy IX itself, the character designs are spectacular, very marketable.
Yeah. Yep, on point as always, you know, tattoo worthy, if you will.
Yeah, right. Definitely
Just- yeah.
tattoo worthy.
Yeah, it's just always the artwork is just something I've always admired about video games, and we here at CFM think you should too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Again, not trying to be like, oh, Square Enix, you know, look at all the cool Square Enix stuff because we're Square Enix fans. No, this is what they're doing. This is a big part of their business now. So if you do, from us to you, if you do want to support Square Enix and you're big fans like us of Square Enix, this is what you're buying.
Yeah, until who knows when. their
Until that next
game
Final
could
Fantasy
come
game
out.
comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think with that, I'll pull that one down and we'll wind we'll wind everything down with that little bit of Nintendo news.
Yeah, Nintendo good time. Here we go with the Switch 2 talk.
Switch 2 talk, yes. First, more Switch 2 news. We are definitely nearing the time of the Switch 2, of the launch of the Switch 2. Drix, it is literally weeks away.
Yeah, really. You know, some of us got our pre-orders in time, and we'll actually get one very soon.
You know what, Drix? I will absolutely do a little bit of an unboxing thing for us here. I'll at least take a picture, you know.
Yeah,
and show
slap it on the
off,
gram.
Slap it on the gram, you know, because like I got it. If you're following our socials, you'll see that I was in line.
Yeah, I shared the line.
The line.
Like, who's with me, brothers?
Who's with me, guys? Switch 2. But But the one thing that they have been kind of hush-hush on, I mean, well, they've been hush-hush on a lot, but one of the things that people want to know that they have not readily made available is what are the upgrades for my original Switch games for the Switch 2? They said there were going to be upgrades.
Upgrades? Yes, please.
Hendrix, I'm happy to say that these upgrades, they are revealed. Nintendo, they launched a web page titled, quote, free updates for select Nintendo Switch games. And that website is nintendo.com/us/gaming-system/switch-2/transfer/guide/games/with/free/updates. So yeah, it's pretty much just as it sounds. Just put a slash in between everything and you'll pretty much be fine. You could probably also search simply just Switch 2 game updates. Everywhere is covering them. I'm not the first. But I will be the one to tell you that some of the upgrades include ARMS, which gets visual and frame rate optimizations and upgrades.
Ooh.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker gets a visual bump. And both Pokemon Scarlet and Violet get visual upgrades and frame rate enhancements, Drix. So we definitely have a lot of the games that maybe ran a little bit choppy. I also saw Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which is also notoriously choppy. Those games are noted to have frame rate enhancements.
Sweet. Yeah, a couple little freebies thrown in since you dished out the dough for a Switch 2. Yeah, you'll get some visual enhancements going.
You know what, Drix?
You can check the list.
Yeah, it is nice because Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they need it. Never thought
that was a complaint from day one.
I never thought the visuals were as bad as some people said, but I definitely felt the frame rate.
Yeah, definitely. That's something you feel and you don't just see.
And another common trend, Drix, that I wanted to point out is that if you check this link, you'll see that a lot of the simpler games and a lot of the less intensive titles, and even some of the more multiplayer-focused titles, such as Captain Toad and Big Brain Academy, are getting game share capabilities patched in. And a lot of these games are also getting HDR enhancements. So these aren't just small upgrades. These are pretty significant upgrades. Being able to game share with somebody playing like Captain Toad or Big Brain Academy, that might... I also saw like the game collection for Switch, like with a domino game, dominoes and billiards and all that. That's game shareable now. And HDR looks pretty good.
Yeah, that high dynamic range. Those are kind of leaps and bounds as far as upgrades go.
I would say so. There's a lot of like you said, palpable enhancements, because HDR isn't something that you can just slap on. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, the whole technology of it requires combining like one really bright image and one really dark image for contrast. So it's like, you're compositing several different layers of visual here.
And we got to remember that Switch 2 is able to do HDR just on the portable unit.
Yeah, it can look that good on the go.
So, pretty good enhancements for your Switch games. Sounds like a lot of them are going to be a lot more stable. And we got to remember, everybody, that the Switch games on the Switch 2, it's not hardware-based, it's emulation-based. So...
yeah.
It's just one of those things where at this point they have... I would think it's safe to say that they've made upgrades to the games that allow them to streamline via emulation.
Yeah, maybe they're just modding their own stuff now.
Yeah, I would imagine. But with that, it is the final news story of the night. for us here at CFM Radio. And you know what, Drix? We covered a good amount of stuff today. I still can't believe that PlayStation, I think PlayStation is just living off of dumb luck. You know what I mean? You've got these studios who aren't producing, plagiarizing art.
Boo.
Like, what do you even do about that, Drix? What do you even do about... Like I'm Sony, and this marathon game was in alpha, and this plagiarized art was fucking everywhere in the game. Like, what do you even do?
I mean, bigger fish are just harder to swim on,
Like, do you cancel the game? Like,
yeah. Hope you got good lawyers. If anybody does.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding. Because,
or at least you can settle it out of court. I don't know.
Well, dude, I was listening to Sifted, and like they made a really good point. This person doesn't even need to accept those terms.
Yeah, exactly.
They could just be like, F off. Like,
yeah, you stole from me.
yeah.
Give it back.
Yeah.
Sorry you couldn't be an actual artist, you giant company.
It's pretty wild. It's crazy that Sony is living off of like the literal riding off of dumb luck and like their third-party strategy when they pretty much said, hey, chop on those third-party games.
Yeah. Oops, we won the console war. What do we do now?
Fuck. Man, you're not kidding, dude. That's what it feels like.
Oops, completely on accident almost.
Yeah. Like, hey, Xbox decided that we just don't want to compete anymore, and Nintendo decided to make toys and open up a fucking theme park. So, like...
Yeah. A couple movies.
Yeah,
Get some movies out.
Got $1 billion movie. Like, they... Very interesting time for the games industry, to say the least.
Yeah, exactly. And for as long as, again, the video games are really kind of unique in the way that they walk the line between this is art and entertainment, but also like some of the biggest companies to ever exist in like a growing industry. So one of the reasons why, Vector and I are passionate about it and why we're here every week bringing you the video game music and news. I mean, I love video game music so much, I'm DJing it for you right now. Except for this song I actually made.
I mean, it is just an interesting thing to think about, especially from where we started with CFM Radio specifically, where it feels like these huge like it started off with a bunch of huge changes, and these huge changes just don't keep coming. And I don't even think we're close to seeing any sort of final form.
No, absolutely not. It's just gonna keep doing the magical girl transformation on us.
Yeah, seriously. Hopefully, we don't get hit with that moon prism power too hard in the wallet.
Yeah, exactly. Or those sweet, lovely employees get hit with the power in the layoffs.
Yeah, we'll talk. We don't want to mention anything about any kind of AI optimization or anything like that, because that's just not a great subject.
Yeah. Don't let your roguelikes become rogue dislikes.
Exactly. And until next time, we'll see you next Wednesday, and keep playing games.
Thanks for stopping by.